Kevin, you know, a second round Weidman KO was 18 to 1. Is that what it was? Fucking 18 to 1. Just so you know.
Yeah, but you know, that's a hard one to predict.
No. Someone won some money tonight. Might be in the UK actually. Yeah, it might be in the UK.
In all seriousness, I couldn't see Weidman winning, but I would have never ever picked a KO.
No,
I would never pick a KO.
not by flicked wrist. Not by left-hand flicked wrist.
I thought submission possibly, but unlikely. I thought it could be a knockout by elbows to the top. Good ground and pound. Like when he was right in front of me, I was looking for him when he took him down. They were back in front of me. I could see Anderson was blocking most of them.
Weidman wasn't getting that much trouble on the ground, was he?
No, I was just saying. He was blocking the majority of the tournament program.
Yeah, and then Anderson was scoring in seconds. He was scoring him. Weidman looked like 19 in his face in that second round.
Hello. Hold on. So, see any good fights tonight? I don't know. Did anything interesting happen? I'm not sure. That was insane. I'm sure a lot of you, like me, were sitting there. I just thought Anderson was clowning some more, so I was like, oh, look at he's played. Oh, snap! He is knocked out. That was just crazy. So congrats to Chris Weidman. You know, I had just tweeted this a couple minutes ago. All week long, Chris was talking about his psychology degree, and people were talking about, oh, you know, what are you going to do? Is Anderson, you know, can play mind games, and he goes in there and he clowns with people, and he kept saying that his degree was good. What? Oh, 1 more minute. Something is going on. I'm not sure. Wade is giving me the 1 more minute sign. Hold on. Oh, I see myself. See? Now it's like one of those endless Escher loops. I've got the computer up with my only. I'm living lost in this insanity. But yeah, no, what I was saying is that all week long, Chris Weidman was saying that, here, I'll turn around a little more, that his psychology degree was going to protect him from the mind games. And it looks like he might have been right, because I think a lot of people would have gotten really frustrated and would have just gotten completely flustered when Anderson was clowning him like that. So props to him for hanging in there. It's interesting, though. I'm sitting here with my friend Evelyn, and she works with Wade's up there. You got to wave. See? Hello. And so you were saying, I can't get comfortable here. Let me just turn my darn chair around. So you were saying that it's interesting because a lot of the Brazilians are actually kind of mad at Anderson, right?
They are really mad right now. I was just looking on Twitter, you know.
Yeah.
Everybody's kind of mad.
What the point is kind of that they feel that Anderson gave the fight away?
Yeah, they're saying that the way that he acted inside the octagon was not a way that champions should do, you know. So they're saying that he gave it the belt to Weidman.
Yeah. That one, yeah. I know I can't. Okay. Excuse me, sir. Can you sit down? Yeah, thank you. It was great. Last time we had Anna Claudia, JDS's manager, bombing us. It was great. But you know, it's interesting because the way he plays, part of you feels like Anderson's just looking for a challenge and he's looking to excite himself. But at the same time, he gave Chris so many opportunities, and he capitalized on it.
He was kind of, you know, the way that people in Brazil see right now is like he thought that he was invincible, right? Like the spider thought that he would be Superman. You know, I just remember what you wrote on Facebook, right? That maybe Chris Weidman was like Clark Kent, really, right. You know. So they are saying that he just was so disrespectful, and that he just didn't really do what he was supposed to do, you know. And the way that he acted inside today, the octagon was kind of, everybody in Brazil just saw that really, really bad.
Well, and it's crazy, too, because we've seen Anderson in his other fights act that way and then demolish the guy. So part of you is thinking, here it comes, here's the beginning of the end, but this time, obviously, it was different.
It's weird because the way that he acted during the whole week, you know, being nice to Weidman, like letting him hold the belt, you know, and then, like, what he did at the weigh-in was kind of awkward, too, right. But, like, we were not really expecting that he would do, like, you know, he was just kind of giving the opportunities, too many opportunities to the guy, and you know nobody really can do that. He was not, Superman. I mean.
Right. Well, and two, the conspiracy theorists are going to say that, Chris Weidman was the right guy to lose to, because all the hype behind him, and he is a legitimately very, very good fighter. He's undefeated. There would be no shame if you lost to this guy. And, I think some conspiracy theorists are going to say that this was planned or something.
I agree. They already saying on Twitter, like, oh, that they just buy the fight, they want to sell more pay-per-views, so they're going to do the rematch, and, they're saying that. But I think most of people in Brazil, they already know that he just lost. He just lose because he acted the way that he acted, Sorry.
I kind of thought he was going to retire there for a second.
Yeah, me too. I thought he was announcing, like, I'm not fighting anymore, so I'm retiring, but let's see. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about another Brazilian on the card, Charles Oliveira. How do you think he did against Frankie? I mean, I know he didn't win the fight, but how did you think he was doing in that fight?
He did pretty good. I was kind of impressed because I knew that was going to be a tough fight, and I knew that he trained really well to this fight. But, he made the fight more interesting, right? Edgar was pretty good too. Was pretty good, but if it was not for Chris, I think the fight wouldn't be that good.
Yeah, I thought it was really good, and I thought there were moments where Charles was. I thought a couple of times I think, oh, he's just about to tee off here, and it's going to be over. And I was joking with Joe. We were sitting together and saying that in every fight, Frankie almost gets knocked out and almost gets killed, and then comes back and wins. So I was sort of expecting that to happen. It didn't get that far, but you know that he can take the pressure and keep coming.
Yeah, but I think Charles did that too. For some moments I thought that he would be done. Okay, he's gonna be done, and then he just came back. That was impressive, right? Yeah.
He ate a few punches that I was impressed too. That's what I said about sort of halfway through the second round and third round. I went, he's got a really good chin. He could take a punch.
Yeah, he has a really, really tough chin, and I think he proved that tonight, and I think he did a really good performance. So it's going to be good for his career too.
Right. And then there's Edson Barboza. My God. I mean, I don't know how I know sometimes they say when Brazilians are fighting each other because he was fighting Tractor, and I know that sometimes you guys don't like to see that. So how did you feel about that fight?
I like both of guys, so it's a tough fight for me. But I think Edson was so good, and he trained that. He was saying during the whole week that he was going to, trying to not let Tractor push him down and get the takedowns. And I think he was pretty good on that. And his kicks, they are just crazy.
Seriously, that guy is brutal, and he's so funny about it. We talked to him after the fight, and he's really humble about it. He's I think I've got pretty strong kicks. I'm hello. Crazy. He's really very good.
Did you see, I think for a moment I thought the Tractor's knee was already bleeding, and I was like, he couldn't walk. He went to the hospital because, it was pretty really bad, beat up.
It was bad. And so, it's funny because I know when you're at the fights, a lot of time you're asking Dana about, when's the next fight in Brazil and all that. And I know everybody, at times people give you a hard time, but the demand for coverage in Brazil right now is huge, right? I mean, the appetite for the sport is very big, right?
That's why I'm in Vegas. I'm the only Brazilian correspondent in Vegas, writing for Brazil, because it's just crazy. Everybody loves the sport, and we have so many Brazilians at the UFC as well, so everybody wants to know what's going on.
Right. But no, and so it's fair. I know that's why you have to ask the questions, because I know everybody's like, oh, why does she keep asking? Is there a show in Belém? Are they going back to Belo Horizonte? When are they going here? When are they going there? But you have, you're just answering the questions, asking the questions people want to hear.
Yeah, what they already announced a lot of events in Brazil, so we are just trying to see what's going on and trying to help the fans to get the information too, right?
And I know Jose Aldo has a big fight coming up. What do you think of him fighting the Korean Zombie?
It's going to be a crazy fight too. I'm excited for the fight because actually I thought that Zombie would be the first option, and then I'm glad that he got a shot.
Yeah. I love Jose Aldo. I'm not even apologizing. That guy is fantastic. I think he's awesome.
I agree, I think in Brazil, everybody loves the way that he fights, but people talks more about Anderson Silva or about, Junior dos Santos, but I think Aldo is the best one right now, you know, to hold the title. He's the one with the title, actually.
Well, and what's interesting too about him, he has a really good sense of humor. He's very playful and he's very sweet and very loyal. I was there for the fight for the Ultimate Fighter Brazil finale, and Leonardo Santos won, and those two are very, very close. And you know, Junior's crying in the, Jose's crying in the ring, and everybody's crying, and they're so emotional. I mean, that he's for somebody who's so vicious, he seems like a really very sweet person.
He is, and I think what is good about Aldo as well is like he's really humble, you know, and he's the kind of guy that helps a lot of people in Brazil because of his work in the community, you know. So I think this makes people like him too.
Cool. Now, do you have to? I don't want to keep you from writing. She's. I know. I thought for sure they'd be starting by now. So here's another. We're gonna pan around. Yeah. The question is, how late will you be up? I mean, obviously Brazil is 4 hours ahead of here right now. Well, not all of Brazil, but part of where you need to deal with. So how much work do you have to do tonight?
I have no idea. I think Henderson right now just is gonna make me work until tomorrow, probably at midnight. Probably noon tomorrow. I will be working still. So let's see.
Oh my goodness, this is what we do. This is what I have to say. If we pan around the room, though, you'll see that there's not that many ladies here. So that's why I like hanging out with Evelyn, and we get to talk, and I get to practice my Portuguese, and I joke with her about her diet. And we won't get into that, but it is fun. I find myself, because otherwise you end up talking to this guy, Gareth Davis. Gareth, I mean, come on, Gareth. Would you turn around and give the crowd a smile, please? Presenting, look, wait, we're live right now on our stream, so your 2 cents about the night, the biggest theme of the night, the biggest story?
Well, it's just got to be the bizarre and surreal ending to Anderson Silva's championship reign. Are you punking me now or not? Okay. Okay. Yeah. So, well, I never know with you because
I know.
You get me to wear blouses of yours, and did you want me to wear your shoes?
Well, you wish my blouse would fit you.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay. I got bigger breasts than you, remember?
You probably do.
Yeah. Well, it was just it's that moment where you feel kind of that hole in the pit of your stomach when you see a guy with so much talent throw it away in not moments of madness, but kind of, it's almost like Anderson Silva lost his mind in there tonight, you know.
Well, what's interesting, who knows if he lost it, because we all talked to him, and we've talked to him at length at different times, but he's a very complex person, so who knows really what's going on in there.
Well, he's done the same, hasn't he, against Demian Maia. If Demian, well, Demian Maia. Oh, you didn't include me in the first section of the streaming, then, is it? Okay. You ran out of things to say, and you thought, let's get the guy in front of us say a few words.
That's not true at all. Yeah. You were busy typing away furiously.
Finish my story. Hello. And
well, plus, you know, you hate us video people because.
Let's carry on now. I'll take the microphone up to the stage, and but basically, you know, it's the same thing as Demian Maia. And remember, Demian Maia made him pay in the 5th round because Maia won that round. Foolishly, I just think it's such a shame when the guy's leg.
I'm going to go through a few things here, and Anderson and Chris Weidman should be here soon. Let's start with the attendance of the night was 12,399. The gate was 4.826 million. The fight of the night was Edgar versus Oliveira. They both won $50,000. The other fight of the night is Silva and Swanson. They won $50,000 too. And if I got to tell you who the knockout of the night was, you're stupid. We're formally announcing 4 major pay-per-view events to close out 2013. UFC 165, Jones versus Gustafsson, September 21st at the Air Canada Centre in Toronto. UFC 166, Velasquez versus Dos Santos, October 19th at the Toyota Center in Houston. UFC 167, St. Pierre versus Hendricks, November 16th at the MGM Grand here in Las Vegas. And UFC 168, Ronda Rousey versus Tate 2, December 28th here at the MGM Grand. We're also announcing a multi-city press tour with those 8 fighters that will kick off on July 29th, and we'll be hitting the Bay Area, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, New York, Houston, Dallas, Chicago, Montreal, Stockholm, Sweden, London, England, and Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And that's all I got. So got the first question.
Dana, just to clarify on that, because earlier in the week you said you weren't sure if Rousey and Tate is the main event. That will be the main event.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Can we get your thoughts on tonight? Obviously, you know, a crazy night. Seeing a lot of talk of a fix. People saying it didn't look right. Have you seen any of that? Do you hear any of that?
People are saying what?
That it was a fix. That there was something.
That was fixed.
You
yeah.
know,
That's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life.
right.
Okay? That is just stupid.
Now, with that out of the way, talk about your reaction to the fight. Obviously, it was a shocking result. I think even people that thought Weidman was going to win didn't necessarily see it play out that way. What were your thoughts on it?
Well, you know, a lot of people felt the reason that Chris Weidman would win is because of his ground game and his wrestling. He took Anderson Silva down immediately, and Anderson did a great job of defending the submissions, got back to his feet, and there's no doubt that he got into Chris's head by the end of the first round. Yet he kept doing it throughout the entire second round and ended up getting clipped and knocked out. Chris Weidman kept his composure, didn't freak out, panic, or you know, a lot of guys will mentally shut down and go, what the hell am I doing? I'm in here with Anderson Silva. You know what I mean? I can't even hit the guy. He's playing with me right now. And he didn't. He stayed focused, kept moving forward, and kept trying to finish until he did.
You said coming into this fight that a loss meant all those super fights were off the table, that it was all done.
Yeah.
Is that still your feeling?
Yeah. I mean, that fight cost George St. Pierre and John Jones and Anderson Silva a lot of money, you know?
And the Roy Jones talk and all that, that's...
Yeah, well, the you know, in those super fights, he was the link to both of them.
Right.
So, there you go.
And just last question, if I could, for you. Anderson said in the cage that he wasn't interested in a rematch. Have you had any discussion with him?
No, I mean, let me tell you what.
Yeah.
Anderson Silva has lost fights on his record. Anderson Silva doesn't know what it feels like to lose. It's been a very long time since he's lost, so I'm sure that's sinking in, and you know he's got to deal with that for a few days. And I guarantee you, no matter what he says publicly, and we've had this conversation before, you know, I guarantee you there's nothing he wants more than that rematch with Chris Weidman.
Thank you. And just one, if I could, for Cub. Obviously, what happened tonight is going to probably take a little bit away from what you accomplished. But I know you were saying you wanted to get into a title shot. Do you feel like you did enough to earn that? And what do you think should be next for you?
Yeah, I think I did everything I needed to do. And like I said, I'm just trying to get the fans to back me on it and let them decide. Dana does a good job of listening to the fans, and if they speak up and they want me to be the next one in line, then you know it could happen.
Dana, can we get your take on what you think about Cub getting a title shot right now?
I think Cub looked awesome tonight. That fight was sick. Both guys went in there and were determined, and both guys wanted to win, and both guys fought their asses off from the first round to the last round, and Cub poured it on when he needed to, and yeah, I think he deserves many things other than $50,000 tonight. I think he's a stud. He always goes and delivers. He's you know, I talk to these guys after the fight, and I'm always telling them, be the guy that gets noticed. No, he got noticed tonight, man. I mean, he's just the kid. I couldn't say enough good things about him.
If Aldo wins his fight, are there any apprehension for you as a promoter to have that rematch?
We'll see what happens. You know, Pettis is flapping out there in the wind too. The kid could fight at 55. He could fight at 45. We'll see what happens.
Hey Dana, right down here to your left, where you just were.
Hey.
It was you know, one of the best run in the UFC. We just saw how it ended. Are you disappointed at all the way in which it ended? Are you almost feel like we were kind of robbed of a legitimate Anderson Silva loss to end this streak?
Anderson Silva is so talented. You know, the guy knows what he's capable of doing. The guy knows what kind of punishment he's capable of taking. And he, if he won tonight, we'd all be going, holy shit, I've never seen anything like that. He's the greatest. You know what I mean? He got clipped tonight. He decided to fight the way that he wanted to fight. He wanted to, you know, we've seen this before when he does this, and, you know, it's part of the reason he's been called great and everything else, the things that he's able to do. But tonight it caught up with him. You know, I don't think that I saw anything tonight where the big question that I'd say is, when does Anderson Silva show up and look 38 years old? He looked great tonight, right up until the end.
Is there any comparison whatsoever to what happened in Abu Dhabi? Does this night feel similar at all to what you experienced?
I mean, it doesn't feel like an Abu Dhabi night. If it was an Abu Dhabi night, we'd all be sitting here wanting to kill ourselves. That was a horrible night. I mean, that fight was terrible. This fight wasn't terrible. This fight was very exciting. You know, Anderson Silva got taken down immediately, and that's what everybody said was going to be. That was going to be the end of the fight once Chris Weidman got his hands on him. He took him down. Chris Weidman hit him with big shots from the top. He had him in a couple of different submissions. Anderson got out, popped back up to his feet. You know, got into his head in the first round, then came out and continued to do it and got knocked out in spectacular fashion. And yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody got robbed of anything. It was a great fight.
Dana, you don't think that was disrespectful of Anderson to do that to Chris and also to the fans who paid money to come here to see him?
Fans came here to see a fight. They saw a pretty great fight tonight. You know what I mean? Is it disrespectful? I don't know. This is fighting. How the hell do you disrespect somebody in a fight? I'm going to punch you in the face and try to knock you out. I'm going to try to kick your leg off, and if I grab your arm, I'm going to take that off, and I'm going to strangle you if I get your neck. But I don't want to disrespect you.
But when you promote fights, you use respect all the time. So many times you said it. He's respectful. He's this, he's that. So how can you say it on the one hand?
Well, I think what Weidman did to him was pretty damn disrespectful too.
No, that's part of the competition, right?
Right.
Okay, so but I guess what I'm saying is, I mean, and you're saying it was a great fight. You know, he wasn't fighting. I mean,
my fucking heart was in my stomach. My hands were sweating. My jacket is soaked. I almost fainted twice. It's a pretty damn good fight.
So when a guy has just got his hands down and saying, hit me in the chin and doing that wasn't a fight like Cub Swanson fight or...
This guy's the greatest fighter of all time.
I agree, but what he did tonight...
The greatest fighter of all time, and he was out there doing his thing, and his thing didn't work tonight. Pretty fucking exciting.
So you had no problem... If Weidman comes up here and says he was angry or felt disrespected, because I think he said in the cage he was pissed off by it, you would have an issue with what he said then?
No. He has the right to feel however he wants to feel. Me as a fight fan, I'm exhausted.
So would you want to see that again? And that same type of...
I wish we could do that fight again next Saturday.
Yeah, I know the rematch will be big, but I mean, from that type of fight, you would want to see again?
I can almost guarantee you and make a promise. I really doubt you will see that kind of fight again if this fight happens again.
Hey, Dan, I want to talk about Chris. Obviously, this is a big night for him. He said he would win this fight. But in some ways, do you think we're talking about Anderson? We're talking about Anderson and his run through the UFC. Could this be an opportunity for Chris Weidman to start his run through the UFC? Are we possibly looking at the next great champion?
Yeah. So, a man of few words called tonight, Matt Serra. And I told you he was going to do it. I told you he was going to do this, and I told you that, and I told you this, and I told you that. And he's going to hold on to the belt longer than Anderson Silva did.
I want to ask that same question to Chris, because how you doing, man?
What's up, buddy?
All right. You, before this fight, you said it wasn't about just winning this fight. You knew you'd win, but about what you would do afterward. Does the hard work, in essence, start now? Because you have to continue to be great.
It's crazy, man. I would think that at this point I'd be able to just sit back and relax. Instantly, I'm already like, I'm freaking hungry, man. I gotta get better. I feel like I still didn't really look at my best. So I'm just really excited to go back out there and freaking keep holding on to this belt as long as I possibly can.
Chris, right in front of you.
Hey.
After Anderson first dropped his hands and tried to pull you into a fight, what went through your head?
You know, we expected him to do things like that. He's done it plenty of times in a lot of fights, and he does it. It's not. I don't see him as being cocky. You know, I see him as trying to mentally defeat you in there, and that's just part of the warfare. It's like any other type of style. It works for him. But I tried not to let it get in my head. I'm like, I'm just gonna keep walking forward. I'm throwing my punches. I'm gonna keep moving forward, and then it got to the point when he was doing it, and I'm like, you know what? Screw this. I'm hitting him. And I believed in my power. Ray Longo, my striking. I do really good. You know, we run all these national champion boxes, and they never came back for sparring. I believed in my stand-up, but again, I'm going against Anderson Silva, so everybody telling you want to go for your takedowns. But when you mix it up, things like that happen.
And what was the advice from your corner during the break between the rounds?
I honestly wouldn't even be able to tell you. I have no idea. I was practicing, was just working on my breathing.
Just last one. The two greatest upsets in the history of the UFC are in the family. One with Matt Serra, one with you. How does it feel as a team to get another upset this big?
No, it's huge. You know, Matt Serra has been an inspiration from day one. You know, I'm blessed to have amazing people around me. I'm from Long Island, New York, never left. As soon as I got out of Hofstra University, Matt Serra's academy, Ray Longo's academy was right there, Renzo Gracie's academy. I'm blessed with great people who really want to see me succeed, and I wouldn't be where I'm at without them.
Chris, first and foremost, congratulations on your win. To your right, down here. In terms of the fight, in the first round, you were doing very well before any of the histrionics. You took him down, you landed some shots, you went for some submissions. It was looking like it might be setting up for a fight where you would win throughout the fight and take it away from him. Obviously, a lot of people and a lot of the talk after what happened in the second round is instead more on Anderson and what Anderson did and the idea that essentially Anderson beat himself in spite of how good you looked early on. Does that frustrate you at all that perhaps he took that from you to a degree, that rather than the story in a lot of people's minds being that you beat this guy after so many years of dominance, that instead in a lot of people are thinking rather about what Anderson did rather than what you did?
Anderson Silva has won his fights, a lot of his fights, because of what he did and what I caught him on. It's not like he's not letting his defense down. It looks like he is, but he knows exactly what he's doing. And I capitalized on it. A lot of other guys couldn't do that. And so I'm not trying to take that away from myself.
Okay, Evelyn from Globo Esportes, Brazil. I want to ask Dana, if Anderson doesn't want the rematch right now, does Vitor Belfort deserves a title shot?
I'm not even thinking about that right now. Anderson Silva has done what nobody else has ever done in this company. You know, he's done things that nobody have ever done in the sport. You know, he's believe me, Vitor, I must have 172 text messages from Vitor Belfort on my phone right now, okay? He's a man of God, but I'm pretty sure he was swearing at me in a few of them. I just kept texting him back, rematch.
Okay, Chris, did you feel disrespected by Anderson Silva for the way that he acted today?
Yeah, no, again, I don't feel like he's disrespecting his opponents out there. I think he's trying to get a mental edge and mentally defeat him and then wait for you to get angry and throw a hard punch and then counterpunch you. He's a counterpuncher. So I don't feel disrespected. You know, I just, we went in there and we fought.
Anderson, I'm going to ask in Português. Todo mundo no Brasil está assim chocado com o que aconteceu. Eu queria saber se você poderia explicar para eles a sua resposta. Eu sei que você já falou na TV lá, mas o pessoal está perguntando aqui pela internet. Eles ficaram muito surpresos com a forma com que você lutou hoje. E se você poderia mandar um recado, explicar para o Brasil o que aconteceu, por favor.
My man.
Well, the question was basically asking Anderson to speak on the fight, and everyone in Brazil is pretty upset right now, so she wants him to speak on the fight.
Então, eu costumo falar sempre para os meus treinadores que a gente dá o nosso melhor, né? A gente procura dar o nosso melhor. Eu dei o meu melhor, estava tentando induzir o Chris a fazer o que eu precisava para imprimir o meu jogo. E, em determinado momento, ele acabou conseguindo imprimir o jogo dele e colocou um golpe que pegou, não tem como. Luta é luta, a gente tenta dar o nosso melhor. É claro que eu não queria perder. Eu não treinei para perder e nunca fiz nenhum tipo de movimento para me vangloriar sobre meus adversários. Luta é luta e eu dei o meu melhor. Treinei 4 meses para essa luta, só que ele foi melhor hoje. Eu acho que a gente tem que respeitar e o UFC tem um novo campeão agora.
I always say that I do my best, and tonight I feel that I did my best. I tried to induce Chris into playing my game, and that didn't work. He threw some shots that landed. I got caught. So obviously my game plan didn't work tonight, and I can't make any excuses. It is what happened. I never would fight a fight to lose, and I trained 4 months for this fight to win this fight, so it is what happened. I lost the fight. A fight's a fight.
Anderson, you've had one of the great runs in any sport. Will this loss bring an even better Anderson Silva to challenge Chris Weidman for the middleweight championship? And if so, Chris, are you prepared to take on that Anderson Silva? That's for you first, Anderson.
Essa luta vai te tornar melhor lutador ainda para voltar com a revanche contra o Weidman?
Olha só, toda luta eu estou tentando melhorar. Não foi a primeira vez que eu perdi na minha vida. E é normal, para mim, perder ou ganhar é normal. Lógico que a gente quer sempre ganhar, a gente quer sempre vencer, a gente treina para vencer. Mas eu estou despreocupado quanto a isso. Eu fiz bem o meu trabalho, o Chris foi melhor do que eu e é natural isso, né? A gente tem os melhores lutadores do planeta nesse evento e o Chris é um deles.
You know, this is not the first time I've lost in my life, and win and losing, you fight out there. I would never go out there to lose. Obviously, you always want to win, and they're the best fighters in the world are in the UFC, and Chris is one of them.
I got a question for you, Dana. I noticed at the end of Frankie's fight, you were on your feet cheering. I'm just curious your reaction to that, and if you know, it was clear that I thought it was clear that he won the fight, but just your opinion on that fight and how you feel to have Frankie back in the W column.
Yeah, I was cheering because it was an awesome fight. You know, both guys fought with a lot of heart. It was a great fight, and that's why they both got $50,000. But yeah, I think that Frankie looked great tonight. Of course, everybody's running over to me going, he's too small. He's got to go to 135. But he looked awesome tonight, and Oliveira proved that he's a talent to be reckoned with. Man, that kid's just going to get better and better and better. So it was a great fight. Loved it.
And so, Frankie, you're staying where you are right now, yeah?
If I got to hear Dana talking about 35, I don't know. I think I'm retiring.
Nice. And just quick question for you, Mark. It took some time. You didn't come out right after the fight. I heard possibly that your hand is not great. So can you tell us a story on that and just how it feels to get the win after such a long road back?
Yeah, it kind of hurts right now. I was punching him really hard, and he wasn't going away. So I tried to finish him, but I don't know, man. I don't know if it's broken or what, but it just hurts a little bit. And it feels amazing to be back. I went through a lot of stuff, and I just say adversity is the dust that polishes a diamond, and it was my time to shine tonight, and I did. So I love being in there. It felt like home. It really did.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This one's for Frankie. Frankie, how do you feel about not only getting your first win after 3 losses, but getting your first win at featherweight?
Yeah, it feels good, especially after 3 losses in a row. A win feels good anyway, but especially after getting 3 losses in a row. So, being that that's my first win of 30-45, very good.
All right, and Dana, what did you think of the Andrew Craig and Chris Weidman fight? And after Chris Weidman's performance, are you thinking about having kind of that career conversation with him at this time?
Yeah, he texted me after his fight, and said, "I'm so sorry. I wanted to do this and I wanted to do that," and And I texted him back, "I love you, kid. I really do. I love Chris Weidman, and kid's been through a lot in his life, and he always bounces back. And I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, he, his style of fighting, isn't a healthy style of fighting. He throws big shots, and he doesn't have what you call hand speed. But if he catches you with one of those clubs, he knocks you out. I don't know. I haven't really thought about it yet, but I really care about the kid, so we'll see.
Down here, Anderson, hey. You touched on this briefly, but the style that you fought with as the fight went on, was that a specific attempt to get Chris out of his wrestling attack and keep the fight standing, where theoretically the fight would more suit you?
Você falou rápido disso, mas o estilo que você impôs hoje era para tirar um pouco o wrestling disso e deixar a luta em pé onde você ia se dar melhor?
Não, como eu havia dito, né? Os lutadores que se apresentam aqui no UFC são os melhores do mundo. E eu acho que a luta em pé é uma luta que o público gosta de ver mais. E o Chris foi melhor e é isso que a gente tem que focar agora no novo campeão.
Like I said before, the best fighters in the world are in the UFC, and I think that the fans enjoy watching a striking match. I like to see guys on their feet, but you got to respect the new champion.
And if I could, a quick one for Chris, just to your left. Yeah. What in those moments immediately after the fight, do you remember at all what was going through your head? You know, as Bruce was, you know, announcing you as new champion, belt getting wrapped around your waist. You know, what's going through your head at those specific moments?
It just felt really surreal, and I was like, just get my wife, my parents, everybody in the cage, please. Just yelling to people. And you know, it was a great feeling, man. You know, I've envisioned being here so many times since I decided to do this sport, and I tried to make it as real as possible leading up, but it still feels a little far-fetched no matter what. You keep trying to reel it in and make it feel more believable. And so anytime, you know, what I just accomplished, it feels surreal, you know, and it's unbelievable. It still hasn't settled in for sure.
Chris,
question for Chris.
Over here.
Oh.
Over here. For Noticias and Rolling Stone magazines from Argentina. At the end of the fight, you greeted Anderson and you spoke something to him. You told him something. What was it? We really want to know what you told him at the end of the fight.
Is it when, at what point? I spoke to him like a bunch of times, I think. Right after? When he was on the ground still?
Yep.
I think I didn't know he was that hurt. I was trying to ask if he wanted help up. That was it. Listen, you go in a cage with a guy like Anderson Silva, it's almost, you develop like such a respect, becomes like a love. I felt, I'm hugging this dude like I love him. You know, I don't know. But yeah, no, I feel for him. I'm obviously happy for myself, happy for my family, and I feel for him also.
Chris, and last night when you put your head on the pillow, what do you think?
Last night?
Yeah.
Last night I was just like, I want to go to sleep. Don't think about the fight too much, and just watch some TV. Fell asleep. I slept pretty good.
Hey, Chris, over here. Right back in the back.
Hey.
It seemed like your camp was sort of anticipating you might see some of that egging on, him telling you to come get him, that sort of thing. When it started to happen, I know that Ray was wanting you to kind of punch him in the chest and things. It looked like you tried that a little bit. Yeah. Did you see, what were you seeing and what were you thinking when that was going on? And did you see the opening to clip him as you did?
Yeah, you know, when he was doing that, I'm just telling myself, don't get mad, don't get fooled into his game, you know, focus on, you know, my punches, the takedowns. But like I said before, I do have, my stand-up is good, you know, and I feel like, you know, I've gone with top world-class boxers and world-class kickboxers, done really well just in that. But again, you know, the game plan was to punch to my takedown. So, but I was just, there was a point where I was like, you know what, I got long arms, and I'm just like, I'm going for this. And I knew he was going to tilt back. He used his hips to move back, and I'm just going to go for it, and went for it and got it.
Cool. And just one for Anderson as well. I noticed a lot of your corner guys afterward were pretty sad, pretty beat up and shocked even as you kind of went over there. Some guys were in tears. What did you say to those guys? What did you guys talk about backstage?
O que você falou para os teus corners, para os teus treinadores, quando acabou a luta? Muitos deles estavam chorando. O que você falou para eles?
Poxa, eu nem me lembro, mas eu falei que não era para ninguém chorar. Acho que o trabalho deles foi feito. Mas é difícil, né? Porque lá dentro quem luta é a gente. Os treinadores podem dar o 100% deles fora, mas quando a gente sobe lá é a gente. Então, é claro que a gente... Eu, como treinador, às vezes fico um pouco triste, um pouco frustrado quando acontecem algumas coisas como essa que aconteceu comigo. Mas eu disse para todos eles ficarem tranquilos, é coisa que acontece, todo mundo fez seu trabalho, eu treinei 100% e estou feliz com o que eu fiz, com o trabalho que eu fiz, e o meu adversário foi melhor do que eu, não tem muito o que falar.
I told them there's no reason to cry, for them to relax. Their work was done, but in the end, the fighter's the one that goes in there. The trainers can't do anything. Their work was well done. It was 100%. I trained 100%, but my opponent won the fight, and there's no reason for them to be upset.
This is for Chris. Chris, you know, a ton of it. At the end of last year, then you got injured and things like that. How did that all affect as far as preparation and just your mental state, you know, coming into this fight?
You know, I felt I had a lot, you know, that whole struggle with the hurricane and injury, I tried to not let it get to me, but there was a lot of stress with that. I did go through some tough times. I tried to put it out of my mind. I have, my wife and my family did a good job of trying to take the pressure off me. UFC helped me, which is huge. And so I was able to, focus on the fight, obviously. But I think anytime you have adversity like that, it makes you stronger, it makes you a better person, stronger person, and a better fighter. I felt like I became from it. And the time off, I felt like I got a lot better at stand-up, actually, so it helped.
Vou perguntar em português, Anderson. Você falou lá em cima que você não pensa em revanche, mas a gente viu que o Dana White está insistindo, né, nessa revanche. Então, quais seriam talvez as condições para você querer uma revanche? O que te motivaria? Talvez uma luta no Brasil contra o Chris Weidman e para o próprio Dana White. Se ele acha que de repente então essa luta poderia ser no Brasil, já que no Brasil você é um ídolo, tem tantos brasileiros torcendo por você, como a gente viu hoje na arena lotada.
The question for Anderson was, you said in there after the fight that you're not interested in a rematch, but Dana said that he wants the rematch to happen. What would motivate you? What would make you want that rematch? Would it be a fight in Brazil? What would be the thing to make you want to go in there? And for Dana, do you think of a fight, this rematch with Chris Weidman and Anderson in Brazil?
Bom, primeiro a gente tem que respeitar o campeão. Ele é o campeão, a gente tem que respeitar. Ele venceu, ele me venceu e merece todas as glórias e o respeito de todos vocês aqui. E realmente eu não estou pensando nisso agora. Estou pensando nos meus filhos, estou pensando na minha casa. E só vou pensar nisso daqui 2, 3 meses. Eu quero dar um tempo para mim mesmo. Estou muito tempo fazendo isso, muito tempo defendendo esse cinturão. E é uma pressão muito grande. Claro que não é desculpa, ele foi melhor do que eu. Os erros acontecem, eu cometi um erro e ele usou as armas que ele tinha para me vencer. Mas eu não estou pensando nisso agora, não. Agora eu estou pensando em ir para minha casa, ver os meus filhos e fazer os meus trabalhos extra-luta. É isso que eu vou fazer.
First of all, we need to respect my opponent. Chris is now the champion. He won the fight. But really right now, I'm thinking of going home. I want to be with my kids. I want to take some time off and maybe 3 to 4 months think about what I'm going to do. But right now, I can't really think about that. I just want to take some time off and go home and think about everything and be alone. And there's a lot of pressure in defending this title. I defended it for a long time, so I need some time for myself.
And I think that's fair, and I respect that.
For Chris, please. Chris, you were obviously extremely confident throughout this entire process, but we all wondered what would it be like the moment you actually got in the cage and Anderson Silva was standing across. Did that confidence stay with you throughout, or was there any moment where you felt yourself wavering a little bit and the moment did get to you at all?
No, it was crazy. I felt really calm in the dressing room, almost overly calm. I'm like, hey, is this? Usually I might be a little bit more nervous in this. Is this bad? I don't know. But no, you always have doubts. I just put it in the hands of God, man. I just took all my anxiety. I put it in His hands, and I really felt really relaxed going there. I felt confident the whole time. He was walking to the cage the whole time. I'm like, I got this. I'm doing this for my family. I'm doing this, and I'm not. I was destined for this opportunity. I just really felt like it was my time, and I'm not gonna beat myself. And if I didn't beat myself, I thought I was going to win the fight.
For Anderson, if I could please, the one criticism I see out there is people frustrated, feeling that maybe Chris didn't beat you so much as you allowed him to beat you by the movements that you make and the way you approach the fight. Do you feel that's accurate at all? And how would you address those people that criticize you for the way you fought tonight?
Tem gente criticando, falando que talvez o Chris não te venceu, que foi alguns erros que você fez, que quase você que se perdeu para si mesmo. O que você fala disso? Tem coerência?
As pessoas vão falar muitas coisas agora, né? Vão falar que o Chris teve sorte, que eu menosprezei o Chris, enfim. Ele deu o melhor dele, eu dei o meu melhor e ele venceu essa noite. A gente tem que respeitar o campeão, respeitar o que ele fez hoje. Ele deu o melhor dele e venceu o cara que era o campeão antes. Então a gente tem que respeitar isso e tem que respeitar o que a gente fez pelo esporte. É isso.
People are going to be saying a lot of things now. They're going to say that Chris got lucky. They're going to say I underestimated him. But we need to respect what he did. We need to respect that he went in there and he beat me, and that's pretty much it.
Just one short one for Dana. Dana, on the broadcast tonight, there was some teasing that there would be a George St. Pierre announcement. Obviously, you did announce the Hendricks fight officially. Was there something else in the works? Was there something hanging in the balance that there might be an announcement for GSP this evening? Had things played out differently?
No.
Good. So it was just the
Yeah,
cage fight.
it was an amateur fight. The fight was.
This question is for Frankie, but for all the fighters, if you feel compelled to answer this. Being it that this is the Fan Expo weekend, and Frankie is always a fan favorite because of the heart that he fights with, how affected are you by the sound of the crowd? Do you even hear it? Does it affect you? Does it amp you up? Do you perform better or worse because of it?
Yeah, I love the emotions of the crowd, especially got, the Brazilian fans cheering for Charles, and then the USA fans cheering for me, and then everyone cheering for him, everyone cheering for me. It's great, I think some point in the third round, I couldn't even hear my corner because the crowd was cheering so loud, so I definitely feed off that.
Dana, over here to the left. Oh, you're.
Oh, okay.
At the risk of pushing this point too far,
Before I think it was at the pre-fight presser, you said we could print that there would guaranteed be a rematch between these two, but Anderson said he wants a few months off to think about it. I don't think you want to keep Chris Weidman on the shelf, so are things just kind of up in the air and you have to wait?
Don't push it. What do you want me to say? The guy said he wants to take some time off. Like I said, Anderson Silva said, before he walked in, I told you guys, and then he came in and said, I have losses on my record.
Sure.
It's been a long time since this guy has lost a fight. And I'm sure he forgets what it feels like to lose a fight. And like he said, there's a lot of pressure that goes along with defending the title and all the other things that go on. Just relax, everybody. Relax, let the guy go home. Let him think about things, and we'll see what happens.
So maybe a rematch, maybe Chris defends against someone else. We'll just, to be determined.
Rematch.
Dana, over here on the back. I know you already said this was a great fight, but what do you think on the way it ended? What does it does to the Anderson's legacy? You've been talking about his legacy for a long time. How does it feel like now? Feel right now about his legacy?
What does it do to his legacy?
Yeah.
Nothing. I mean, the guy's had the longest win streak. The guy's been an amazing fighter. This is one of those moments when, a guy goes on a run like Anderson Silva has gone, and all the creeps and the weirdos come out of the woodwork, and start talking shit about how, oh, look he wasn't this great. What he's done is amazing. Nobody's ever done what this man has done. Nobody's ever done it the way that he has done it. And this doesn't do anything to his legacy. Like I said earlier, the stuff that he was doing, that people are saying, if he did that stuff and won the fight, they'd be talking about what a genius he is. He got clipped, he got caught. Anybody can get caught on any given night, even Anderson Silva. It happened tonight. Chris Weidman kept his composure. Anderson Silva said it. He said it. Everybody knows that he was doing it to mentally mess with him, to get him into his game. And if you noticed, the first thing Chris came out and did in the fight was take Anderson down and started going for submissions. When Anderson started messing with him, he didn't try to take him down again for a long time. He was messing with his head and trying to get in his head and trying to get him to fight his kind of fight. And if he did it and ended up knocking him out, he'd be a genius. But because this kid kept his composure and ended up catching him, now it's like some big controversy. Is Anderson not as good as he was? What's this going to do to his legacy and all that bullshit?
And sorry for changing the subject, but you mentioned a lot of cities for the tours, and you didn't mention Mexico City or any place near to Mexico with the tour that you're having with the fighters.
Yeah, what about it?
I don't know if it wasn't on the plan to be there. I know you were impressed by the way Canelo and Floyd got a lot of people on the public plaza. And
I have no idea what you're asking me.
Why,
Are we going to Mexico City?
Why the tour is not coming to Mexico City with the fighters? I know you're not having a show there, but...
Yeah, it's not on the list, which is pretty stupid. It should be on the list, and yeah, we probably should go there.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks.
For Tim Kennedy, I'm sure you have world-class grapplers that come in to help you prepare for Roger Gracie, but what was it like once he took your back, and how were you able to... Was it easy to keep your composure and use the proper sub-defense?
I was really disappointed in my performance. First of all, I guess UFC jitters are real, and not take anything away from Hodger. He's amazing. I do train with some of the best grapplers on the planet, and you know, nobody gets my back. Hodger got my back, you know, and kept me there for 3 minutes. You know, I stayed cool and tried to hit him in the face. You know, I really wanted to finish him, and everything I did tonight. He's long, he's rangy, and I couldn't reach his chin. So I just tried to stay composed and keep hitting him. You know.
And for Chris, you know, the sequence where you knocked him out, would you say you were getting wild as well? You know, falling for some of the antics, and were you getting close to going back to the wrestling as well?
Yeah, you know, the whole time I was looking to mix it up. I was faking some shots or whatnot. You know, you gotta kind of deceive your opponent. But no, I just got tired. I was just like, I'm going for him. You know, I had to believe in my stand up, and I went for it. Threw a couple punches and landed, and that was it.
For Charles Oliveira, he looks like he's grown in the last few years. And is 145 still easy for you? Because, you know, you came from 155, but it looks like you've grown back up and also added some muscle. So will you be staying at 45?
Você pensa que você vai ficar nessa categoria mesmo ou você está se sentindo bem? Como é que tá?
Não, eu penso em continuar nessa categoria mesmo. Eu enfrentei um grande campeão, um grande lutador, eu dei o meu melhor e acabou sendo o dia dele, a vitória dele. Essa é a minha categoria, eu tenho que treinar, voltar para casa, treinar de novo, me focar e esperar a minha próxima luta.
Yeah, I feel good in this weight class. I fought a champion, and he took the best of me. But I feel really good in this weight class, and I feel I just need to go home and train harder.
Anderson, can you talk about, is that what you were trying to do with the tactics that you were doing? Is that what you were trying to do, is keep the fight upright and try to draw him into an opening where you could knock him out? Is that what you were doing with those tactics?
É o que você estava fazendo com essa tática, era tentar atrair ele para o teu jogo, para deixar ele ficar em pé e explorar algum erro dele?
Eu estava tentando fazer o que eu sempre fiz, meu trabalho da melhor forma possível. E como eu já havia dito, ele foi melhor do que eu, né? Eu cometi alguns erros aos quais eu vou voltar para casa e revê-los, mas ele foi melhor. A gente tem que não tem que se focar no que eu fiz de errado e se focar no que ele fez de melhor. Ele é um novo campeão e isso que importa agora para todos os fãs do UFC. Eu vou continuar fazendo meu trabalho e estou feliz com o que eu fiz hoje. Claro que eu não queria ter perdido, mas acontece.
I feel like I went in there and I did what I always do, and I did my job, but we got to stop thinking about the mistakes that I made and look at what he did. You know, obviously I didn't want to lose this fight, but I need to go back and look at the mistakes that I made, but obviously what he did deserves a lot of respect.
And Chris, did you feel at all that what he was doing, did it cross some kind of line of being, you know, unprofessional?
No. I was just, I expect that from him. He's a genius at getting into people's minds. He's a smart dude. And I just kept my composure, kept moving forward, kept believing in myself. And, you know, it got to the point I just believed in my stand-up more than the second before that. And I said, go for it, you know, and that was really it.
Dana, does the new contract with Anderson allow you to maybe hold his feet to the fire more than you were able to do under the old deal, like making this fight, or say like we're gonna demand that you participate in this fight? Does it change anything?
No, I listen. I've never had a problem getting Anderson to fight. Anderson's always fought. You know, Anderson will say what he will say in the public, but when Anderson and I speak behind closed doors, Anderson Silva has never turned down a fight. Anderson Silva has never said, I won't fight this guy and I won't fight that guy. Even when we got to the point where he said, you know, I don't like what Chael Sonnen said, I don't like what he did, I would prefer not even give this guy a shot at the title. He fought Chael Sonnen. He's been a great champion. He's fought everybody that we ever asked him to to He's done whatever we've asked him to do. You know, have we had our little moments here and there? Yeah, but nothing. It's nothing major. There's no clause in any contract that'll say, you know, oh no, we got to deal with Anderson and he's got to do this or that. He's always been a great champion and a great and a good man, a man of his word.
Hi, Chris. Congratulations over here. Well, Anderson was plenty time pretending he was like hurt or not hurt. Did he ever hurt you? Did you ever felt hurt by him?
No, never felt anything, nothing to the head that bothered me. The leg kicks, I'm like, I gotta start checking those. But other than that, no. I actually on purpose, I put my hands down and took a couple punches to the forehead just to let him know I'm not scared to put my head out there. And I believed in my chin, bit down on my mouthpiece and said, let's do this. And that was really it.
Good. I'm going to take 2 more questions, if there are 2 more questions.
Right
Go
here.
ahead.
Questions for Mark. Mark right here, to your right. Michael Mardonis, middleeasy.com. First of all, congratulations on an awesome transformation and probably one of the best wins of your career. What were your thoughts on the main event, and were you disappointed at all that you weren't the guy to dethrone Anderson Silva?
I just want to say, if Anderson doesn't fight Chris, I would love to step in. I'd love to step in because this was a real Mark Munoz tonight. When I fought Chris, I actually had some adversity fighting him. So I would really love a rematch with him. So if he doesn't take it, but at the same time, I felt amazing. The stuff that I went through it, and that's the stuff that I think a lot of people go through, and I was just vocal about it. And now I'm past it. It made me a better person, and now I'm here, and now I'm here to stay.
And what was your reaction to the knockout?
Yeah, I was disappointed because I know what Anderson can do. I know what he can do, and I know what he's capable of, and he got caught tonight. He did, and he'll be back though. He's a champion. He's been there for so long. So yeah. And I told him, I said, I want to train with you. Let's train. So, and he said he'll come train. So.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah.
One more question. Somebody have one more? You're done? Thank you so much, everybody. We appreciate it. Have a great night.